Okay, second shot at recording this video, and I'm honestly glad I restarted because in the first one I was extremely erratic, and I'm going to try to keep it together just a little bit more this time. So, talking about the SPY, long-term uptrend, kind of maybe a little double top, close to the all-time highs, change of character through the midline, and also this prior support level. So recent downtrend, kind of consolidating below this prior support level and below the midline. So also approaching the 50-day moving average. So maybe dip buyers will be coming in there. But I don't know. All right, moving on to the top two pre-market movers. HTGM, obviously, we'll come back to talk about this. I don't think the pre-market's on this chart anymore. I'll look for it. Okay, yes it is. So, yeah, so we had this. The daily setup was that we're, excuse me, let me just see, I'm not following the process, still not following the process. So, HTGM, healthcare, right? Healthcare, and they had, like I said, some news that came out Friday about, they got some approval, right? So, Bella talks about, intraday fundamentals, like they had a positive, approval for their lung thing in Europe, right? So, we come in coming off a 1-year base, at 52-week highs in the pre-market. It's one of the top pre-market volume movers. Nice, a lot of shares being traded here in pre-market, fucking 1.9 million right on the open. We go down, test, pre-market low off the open, or, the support level off the open, come back up. So maybe this is, your opening range buy. I want to go to the 4-minute and talk about, this is the setup. This is opening. This is what I say is my favorite setup, but clearly I'm too chicken shit to actually trade this. So opening drive, and then pullback. This is the strongest form of a pullback, is this sideways consolidation. We talk about overlapping compression. It doesn't get better or more obvious than this. Yet, I didn't follow the process of following the bigger picture, and I didn't take this trade. I was looking at it, I didn't take this trade. Because, so you're risking, maybe twice normal. So instead of risking 100 shares here, maybe I risk 200 shares and be willing to risk $200. Or, even 300, right? Because this is a super A+ setup, right? So you're talking about you have to risk more here on your better setups. And I couldn't agree more. So, this is the one, and we'll circle back to this later. So MU was the other one. So what's this? Micron, technology sector, semiconductors. So generally doesn't move too much. ATR is kind of about 60 cents or some bullshit like that. But what we have is we've been in an uptrend for the long-term uptrend, and we're gapping up to pre-market highs, all-time highs, gapping up the pre-market. So thinking perhaps this is an exhaustion gap. We see off the open is, we try to test up to the prior pre-market high, and then from the open we have right before the open, rather 29, right? So we start spilling, we break this pre-market support, and then change. So I would call this a change of character, and so we bounced off the opening pre-market support level. Came back to a prior support level, so prior support becomes resistance, and I actually traded this one. So I actually had a really excellent entry right here, right at 28.74. So right in, excuse me, not ESPR, 29.39. So right in here, right on this bar. It's right when I was entering this trade. I don't know why the marks are gone. They're just fucking gone. So just take my word for it, man. I trust me. I know every fucking place I entered and exited on this day. But do I have a plan? No. Did I have an exit strategy? No. The way we're trading is we're saying, we're looking for wide range days, right? So what's a wide range day? Well, it opens on its low and closes on the high. So, should I be taking profits to the end of the day? No. Should I be closing a position for the end of the day? No. I'm either fucking stopped out or, I'm catching the move from the day, right? So I ended up covering in here. So after this, after I saw the trade start working again, greed, I threw, the short back on. So, this isn't bad. We're like, it's after 10 o'clock. We're in an intraday downtrend, holding at the low of the days. I don't think this is a terrible entry, but it definitely just like should have just been in here and then started, breaking down low of days and coming back up. So I got out like somewhere right in here. So frustrating because this should have been a big winning trade for me, and I fucked it up. So, on prioritization though, as we were talking about, if I have to choose between fucking Micron and HTGM coming off a 1-year base, and with fresh news at all-time highs, that's the fucking A+ trade, man. And got to be trading that shit over this shit. So, after my debacle in Micron, I decided to short ESPR and fucking yesterday's range again. So ESPR, biotech, trading near all-time highs at, in a solid uptrend still. We did have this like reversal day, like at the all-time highs, but we're kind of going sideways, but still in the prior day's range. Where I traded it, we were at cove areas, but we had open higher, which is good for sure. Made higher lows coming into it, but and we were holding at the low of the day. But the most important piece of the puzzle is the big picture, and I was not following the big picture. If this is below yesterday's low, like, maybe this is a good setup, but it's not. I'm trading within the priorities range. There's no wonder why this was a fucking losing trade. Yeah, so did that. Then, greedy McGreeder son, who I am. Making higher lows intraday, so I kind of saw this wedging up. And I didn't take on a position. So when we break out to the new all-time high, like high of day, and pull back right here, I was trying to think, prior resistance becomes support, and I bought in right here, but got stopped out just almost immediately. So yet again, just like a winning day. I had a profitable trade in MU, small loss in the SPR. Profitable day turns into a losing day, just like that, because the spot to enter this trade is here, not fucking over here. So, not following a process, still chasing moves, and so we'll talk about things that I have not done well in the past few days. One, actually, my entries on on the proper trades were pretty good. So I'll give myself that. This is not. 2, trading stocks within the priorities range, i.e. JDust and ESPR twice in a row now. 3, shitty exits, not exiting properly. One in MU and then the other day in JDust, and 4, break down AAOI. So also another theme on one of my less profitable days, on a losing day, I traded 4 stocks. There's really not much else to say about that. So AAOI, technology, semiconductors. So hey, we've got MUs in play, AOI. So semiconductors and technology sector is is an in play sector right now. Technology is a good sector to trade from. So long-term uptrend. Long-term uptrends, still intact. Volumes been coming up here, pull back to the midline, right? And I took a trade on this day. It was a good trade. So then we had a wider range day this day, so uptrend still coming in. Volume still supporting. I had this little, narrow range day after this, so I had an alert set at this prior day's high. Come in. My alert gets hit, right? This is the spot to be entering this trade. So now we're at full cove H. Bigger picture is we're in a long-term uptrend. So the only thing that you have to know is that your profit potential is probably not so much, because you have this prior overhead resistance level, and it's a little bit more obvious on the 30-minute chart. It's like somewhere in here, prior resistance. So you got to know that was there. I took a trade in this right in here. I bought like right on this bar with my stop below VWAP. So what's what's good about this trade, what's bad about this trade. One, at least I have the bigger picture. This is a trend trade aligning the picture. You talk about not using the first pullback to VWAP at the right time. This is one of those occasions. Why is that? Well, as we alluded to, prior resistance level, overhead, potential resistance, right? It doesn't have to be, but prior potential resistance level overhead. Number two, the intraday range. So on the daily, like, this one's like $3, like $4. This is like $6. This is like one of the more wide range days, like $6, more wide range days. So just like an average trade day is like $3 or $4. Kind of expectation as we talk about for for a trading day. So where are we? Well, from the prior day's close, we're up, pretty much $4, right? So what's my expectation? And so I get like I'm looking for $1. I mean, if that's my expectation, that's cool. Then I should have, for a scalp, yes, that's a fine trade. But was I looking for a scalp? No, I was not. I was trading this as a trend trade. So, maybe for a scalp, yeah, great fucking trade. But I wasn't looking for that. There's no meat left on the bone. And we got this, potential overhead resistance right here that we've already filled at once intraday. So that's why that was not a good trade. Yeah, and the move's already done, and I'm trying to buy. So just not a good day overall. And I think we see this is because I'm not following the process, right? Like I had success when I just kept it simple and followed the process. And I'm frustrated at myself because I think I'm better than, I feel like I should be better at following the fucking process than I have been. And I guess, I get profitable for a few days. I get the fucking big head. So it's good. I think it's good that I had this shitty stretch of a couple days because I needed to be humbled and to get brought back down to earth, and fucking needed that. So prioritization is huge. If I trade fucking HGTM in the fucking super obvious chocolatey A+ setup, got a monster day, right? And that's all it boils down to. It cannot miss these fucking A+++ trades. And this is definitely one. Other shit that really moved today, VA. Maybe, just talk about, it's been in the recent down, the long-term trend is up, and it's a defense stock, but kind of had this change of character through the midline, so just like a couple days pullback through the midline. So the recent trend is down, so you got that going for you, and then below the prior day's low. So this line is the prior day's low, right? And then we just kind of like 1, 2, 3, 4 times intraday. This is kind of what I like to this trade. So we get this is prior day's low support. Was also support on this day. Prior support becomes resistance. That was a nice trade. End of day. But so you got the short-term trend in your favor. You got this nice support level, full cove H, or full cove L. So when you put those pieces together in the right manner, it makes for really powerful trades. But certainly didn't. One other trade that was really good was fuel. So fuel, advertising, in consumer cyclical sector, right? But so we gap up to all-time highs, but we test down to the prior day's close off the open, right, and start holding at the high, intraday highs. Start holding at the intraday highs. So you could have been buying this prior resistance become support, like in here, overlap in here, could have been buying, and risking very little, very, very little. 7 cents. So there's 7 cents there, 7 cents, and you get out on this trend line break. So, to make like 37. So is that impressive? Well, it's 5 to fucking 1. So that's what we're after. And what do we have going for there? What's the big picture? The whole thing is we're in an uptrending stock. We're not overextended yet at this point. Like this bar definitely made it so. But we weren't, truly overextended outside Keltner. We just kind of pulled back, volume still coming in, and we're at all-time highs. The trend is up. Intraday trend is up. Full cove H. We fucking tested that lower and consolidated higher. So could have taken fuel today, could have taken HTGM today, could have held MU for the whole day and could have had a profitable day. But so there's three super. This is probably an A+ setup. This is definitely an A+ setup. This is, I would call this maybe not A+, but this is definitely an A setup. You got a lot of big picture ideas going for you in the nice pre-market levels. So I would still rate that as an A setup. Yeah, so like it didn't take that much. AAOI, if I'm paying attention just above the prior day's high, that could have been a nice little trade as well. So maybe this is more like a B trade if I had to prioritize it again. HTGM, fuel, and MU are way above that AAOI trade, but there's no reason to have been trading ESPR whatsoever. Anyway, so just kind of talking about some potential setups. So Flexen, so therapeutics drug manufacturer. I don't know if there's any new news in this, but this is just one of the points I saw. This is on my 4-minute watch list because of this high volume day, and then see if we get some overlap. Kind of thinking like the next couple days, I would like to see it go sideways, just kind of like this NKTR. So if NKTR is still on the watch list, I'm going to get rid of this fucking middle line because the real action is going to be above at all-time highs or below here. So I have alert set right there. JDust talked about this, like these overlaps of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 overlapping days with a nice obvious level here. So this like 15, 20, 15, 18 level. It's a nice obvious level. So if we get above there, I would definitely be looking for for evidence to support a long. And then ESPR, we got this. After this wide range day, we're kind of back within Keltner, so we could still, this uptrend is still intact. This one bar doesn't mean that the uptrend's over, so got alert set at Thursday's high and Wednesday's low. Alf broke out of this couple days low, but there wasn't really a setup in there. So we've talked about this is Alf's uptrend biotech. But if we get below this kind of like these lows here, that could make for a better short. If we get above here, we kind of closed up off the day. So if we get above, Wednesday's high, like maybe I could set up along around that psychological $9 level. We did have a full Covel set up. So just look, you just take full Covel setup. After the little weakness kind of showing itself on the daily here, a couple overlapping days, and then sideways off the open, lower highs, holding below the prior day's low and also the intraday low, opening range low. So short anywhere in here with a stop up above here. 10 cents to make, maybe you got out somewhere here. So 3-1, still doesn't, you're not going to get rich quick on this, but it's still a fucking winning trade. So, this is still on the radar. It's still in play. The volume's still really, really good compared to all this other shit over here. We talked about BA. So wind is definitely on the watch list. Just alerts on this high and this low. I like these nice overlapping days, and this is right at the all-time high. So as far as with the big picture, as we were going sideways for years, there's no trend, but since this could be a high level consolidation, a high level base, and if we break out higher, it might be constructive for an uptrend. In summation, kind of ranking my ideas. So for coming in to trade, and also let's not forget OVAS. So volume has been coming in recently. We've got the alert set at this right underneath this 185 level. So biotech, exhaustion gap down, volume climax, sideways base, and biotech's hot sector. So if we break up above here, that would be the real area to break out. On that same kind of thought process, AGRX, drug manufacturer and healthcare, so healthcare is still in play as well. The base isn't as long, but we've been basing for about the past year, so for at least this calendar year rather. And this is a stock that's moved before, so basically I've got an alert set. With this prior resistance, if we get above here, maybe some early shorts get trapped. Maybe some buyers come in above this like 325 area. So I have an alert set there. So these are, OVAS and AGRX are alerts. If they trigger, then we'll pay attention to those. As far as like actual setups, NKTR, WIN, and then ESPR is an alert as well. But this is an in-play stock, so it's something to keep your eye on. And then HTGM closed way down off the highs, so don't want to be fading coming off a base, but definitely going to keep this one on the radar as well. And Fuel had the the wide range day closing way down off the highs on the widest range day on the highest volume, closing way down off the highs. So if we got some open higher tests of the prior day's high, or even naked gap Keltner, or at least once we get to the Cove area, and maybe I can be thinking about short, because maybe this is an indicator that this is getting ready to approach the backside of the move. So video ran a little longer than usual, but frustration at myself. But the trading improvement is about making mistakes, and I certainly am the king of making fucking mistakes. But just and I journaled about it. So like, why am I so cognizant of everything I did poorly? Is because I fucking wrote it down. And if I consistently do that, hopefully I won't be buying under resistance. I won't be trading within prior days ranges. I won't be exiting prematurely. I won't be buying after moves are over. So I'm just trying to just incrementally increase every day. And there's no rush, man. The demo is here to pick out my flaws, and hopefully you can get it right, get the ship right before it's time to go live. I'm gonna watch the Larry Williams tonight, and I will try to record that. Try to see if I can get Chrome, able to record one of these videos. I'll try to record it for you. Hope it doesn't go over an hour to get cut off, but I'll do my best to get that in for you. All right, later, man.